One by one, Afton killed them and stuffed their bodies into the animatronics. Susie was first, being stuffed into Chica. Gabriel went into Freddy, Jeremy into Bonnie, Fritz into Foxy, and then there was Cassidy, who went into Fredbear, aka Golden Freddy. At this point, Afton had no idea that the crying child spirit was in Golden Freddy, so he didn't think twice about shoving Cassidy in there. The way Afton killed Cassidy, though, was different from the rest. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy were just regular animatronics. Afton had no choice but to kill them, then stuff them into the suits. But Golden Freddy wasn't just a regular animatronic, it was a Springlock suit. The same Springlock suit that took his youngest son's life. Afton was aware of how dangerous the Springlocks were. Any bit of moisture or too much movement would cause them to snap shut, slowly killing whoever was inside. So that's exactly what he did to Cassidy. He put him into the suit and watched as the Springlocks snapped shut, cementing Cassidy's death as the most brutal of them all. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy weren't the only animatronics sitting in the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, though. They were joined by the security puppet, which contained the soul of Henry's daughter Charlie. Once Afton was gone, Charlie jumped into action, almost acting as a guide for their souls, properly giving them life inside of each animatronic. After the incident, the kids were quickly reported missing by their families, and although the security cameras caught Afton luring the kids away, he wasn't able to fully get in trouble. Since he was wearing the Spring Bonnie suit, they were never able to prove it was actually him. Afton also hid the kids' bodies where no one would ever look, so the bodies were never found. Unbelievably, Afton was able to get away with yet another crime. Because of all the bad press that came from the missing children's incident, people stopped coming to the pizzeria. After months of customers no longer showing up, Fazbear Entertainment officially shut down Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Shortly after the pizzeria shut down, Afton decided to pull the Funtime animatronics out of retirement and finally get his underground facility fully operational. He knew he couldn't try opening another Circus Babies restaurant, so he had a new idea.
Due to the massive success and even more so the unfortunate closing of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, it was clear that the stage was set, no pun intended, for another contender in children's entertainment. Unlike most entertainment venues, our robotic entertainers are rented out for private parties during the day.
Afton opened Circus Babies Entertainment and Rental. This way, he could rent out
Sorry guys, sorry for the जो भी मतलब कुछ हो गया उसकी वजह से बाकी सीन कंटिन्यू करते हैं।
out the Funtime animatronics to local birthday parties, capture kids, and bring them back to his underground bunker to be experimented on. While Afton was running his rental business, Fazbear Entertainment was determined to try opening another pizzeria. In the summer of 1987, Fazbear Entertainment opened the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, this time with brand new versions of their original characters. These were called the Toy Animatronics, and they were once again built by Henry. Henry was aware of what happened in 1985, and especially of what happened to his daughter, so he was determined to make sure that never happened again. These new toy animatronics were equipped with facial recognition systems that were linked directly to a criminal database. The security puppet was also brought out of retirement, but instead of working security, it sat quietly in the prize corner. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Golden Freddy, and Spring Bonnie were also moved to the new pizzeria, and it's revealed that these animatronics were mostly used for spare parts.
By now, I'm sure you've noticed the older models sitting in the back room. Those are from the previous location, and we just use them for parts now. The idea at first was to repair them, but they were just so ugly, you know? And the smell.
This means that the haunted metal of the original Freddy's animatronics was now being put into the toy animatronics, causing the toys to also now be possessed. After Afton got away with the first set of murders, he needed to see if the kids' spirits were possessing the animatronics. In order to see for himself, Afton went back to work at the new pizzeria as a daytime security guard. While Afton was working the day shift, Jeremy Fitzgerald was working the night shift. Jeremy worked there for 5 nights, and unfortunately for him, because the kids possessing the animatronics were killed by an adult, they were extremely aggressive to any adult they encountered.
They interact with the kids just fine, but when they encounter an adult, they just stare.
Meanwhile, Afton decided to pull the same trick he did at the old Freddy's location, gaining 5 more victims.
Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. someone used it.
Afton used the spring Bonnie suit to pull the same stunt again on 5 more kids. But as he was committing the murders, Charlie, from inside the puppet, was actively trying to save the kids. She tried enlisting the help of the other animatronics, but it was too late. Afton had already finished what he started. Not only that, him seeing the puppet and Freddy walking around the pizzeria trying to stop him was all the proof he needed that his experiments were successful. The kids he put into the original suits were haunting the animatronics. But there was one problem. Afton knew that the haunted metal of the endoskeletons was the key to everything, but the animatronics were trapped at the pizzeria. There was no way he could bring them back to his underground bunker. He couldn't get to the animatronics if the pizzeria was still open and active, so he needed to find a way to make sure the pizzeria shuts down, and fast. Instead of stuffing the new set of victims into the toy animatronics, he decided to leave the kids out in plain sight, scattered throughout the pizzeria. This was a guaranteed way to get the pizzeria shut down. A few hours after Afton committed the murders, Jeremy Fitzgerald showed up for his night shift, unaware of what happened that day.
Hello. What on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get the memo? The place is closed down, at least for a while. Listen, just finish your shift. It's safer than trying to leave in the middle of the night. We have one more event scheduled for tomorrow, a birthday. You'll be on day shift. Wear your uniform. Stay close to the animatronics and make sure they don't hurt anyone, okay?
The next day, during Jeremy's day shift, one of the animatronics bit him in the head. This was infamously known as the Bite of 87. Meanwhile, Afton successfully got the pizzeria shut down. The local newspaper wrote about the incident, saying, after being open only a few short weeks, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is closing its doors. The new animatronics will be scrapped due to possible malfunctions. However, the original characters are being kept in hopes of a possible reorganization of the company. Since the toy animatronics were now being scrapped, he knew he could get away with taking their endoskeletons. But he also knew that he couldn't risk showing his face at the pizzeria again, so he got his oldest son Michael to do the work for him. William was easily able to get Michael to do whatever he wanted. William was abusive and manipulative, while Michael was haunted by the guilt of what he did to his younger brother. Because of this, Michael basically acted as William's puppet. Michael showed up for the night shift at the now closed Freddy Fazbear's Pizza under a code name, Fritz Smith. At the end of his shift, he would successfully steal the toy animatronics endoskeletons for his father, causing him to get fired his first day on the job due to tampering with the animatronics. As it said in the local newspaper, while Fazbear Entertainment scrapped the toy animatronics, the original Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy were going to be fixed up and reused. And that's exactly what they did. After the 1987 Freddy's location shut down, they opened yet another location, this time using the exact same building as the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. As you can imagine, this didn't work out great for the business. People already had a bad impression of Fazbear Entertainment, so using the same building that the original murders took place in didn't help business. Customers barely showed up to the new pizzeria, leading it to shut down by the end of 1993. Although this was bad news for Fazbear Entertainment, this was great news for William Afton. Afton was able to acquire the endos of the toy animatronics, but that wasn't enough. He needed all of the haunted endoskeletons, especially the ones in the original animatronics. Once the pizzeria shut down, Afton came up with the plan to steal the endos from the animatronics. Each pizzeria was designed with something called a safe room.
As always, if there is ever an emergency, please go to the designated safe room. Every location is filled with one extra room that is not included in the digital map layout program the animatronic or security uses. This room is hidden to customers, invisible to animatronics, and is always off camera.
This room was hidden from guests and invisible to the animatronics. Afton would use this to his advantage, luring each of the animatronics to the safe room and dismantling them one by one. The kids possessing these animatronics were the same kids he lured into the back room all those years ago. He planned to use the same trick to lure the same kids all over again. Once he finished dismantling each animatronic and stealing their endoskeleton, he brought them down to his underground bunker, where he would melt them all down into one liquid substance called remnant. Not only did Afton rob these kids of their lives, he would use their souls long after they're gone for his own personal gain. melting down the endos, he successfully created Remnant. This substance, containing the spirits of all of the missing children, was silver in color, and if kept at the right temperature, was malleable. Afton didn't want to risk testing the Remnant on himself, so he injected it into the Funtime animatronics. Once he did, the animatronics jumped to life. The experiment had worked. William Afton unlocked the power of life itself. After his successful experiment, he went back to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza to collect his old spring Bonnie suit. But once he got there, he was met with the spirits of the 5 missing children, trapping him inside the safe room. Cassidy, the spirit inside Golden Freddy, chased Afton around the room and forced him to get into the spring Bonnie suit. Cassidy was the most vengeful spirit of them all. Being spring-locked in the Fredbear suit was a painful and slow death, and he wanted to make sure that Afton knew what that felt like. At this point, Afton knew how a spirit could live on. As long as he was inside the suit, he knew he'd be back. As Afton laughed, the spring locks snapped shut, forcing him to go through what Cassidy went through. This was an act of revenge by Cassidy, and it wouldn't be the last. Afton was now confined to the safe room of the now shut down Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and because of this, everything in his underground bunker was left abandoned. But even with Afton gone, the rental business continued on its own. All of the Funtime animatronics containing the spirits of the missing children and even his daughter Elizabeth were still being rented out during the day and then brought right back down to the bunker. All the spirits wanted to do was escape, but they were always put back underground. After Afton went missing, his eldest son Michael, who's been blindly helping his father, remembered what his father told him if he ever went missing. If William wasn't there to finish his work, Michael would do it for him. Afton's underground facility was always off limits to Michael, but since he was now gone, Michael had no choice. He took the elevator down to where his father worked every day. Although Michael was helping out his father by stealing some of the endos from the animatronics back in the day, he never exactly knew what William was doing until he got down into the bunker. Over the several days he visited the bunker, he learned more about what his father was up to. He learned about the massive facility his father built, complete with multiple rooms conducting fear experiments. He learned the truth behind the Funtime animatronics and how they were actually designed to kidnap kids. And he learned through the voice of Baby exactly how his sister died.
A little girl, standing by herself. My stomach opened, and there was ice cream. I couldn't move, at least, not until she stepped closer.
But as the week went on, Baby was conducting a plan of her own, a plan to escape the bunker, using Michael's body. Elizabeth was no longer the person Michael remembered her as. She was entirely devoted to her father, and would do anything to make him proud of her. At the end of the week, all of the Funtime animatronics endos were scooped out, with all of them combining into one animatronic, called Ennard. This creature, containing the spirits of the missing kids and Elizabeth, knew they wouldn't be able to escape the bunker looking like an animatronic. They needed a human body to walk around in.
You are in the scooping room now. Funtime Foxy has already been here today. Funtime Freddy has already been here today. Laura has already been here today. Circus Baby has already been here today. I've been out before, but they always put me back. They always put us back inside. There's nowhere for us to hide here. There is nowhere to go when we look like this. But if we looked like you, then we could hide. If we looked like you, then we would have somewhere to go. The scooper only hurts for a moment.
Michael Afton's insides got scooped out and replaced by Ennard, helping all of the souls to escape the facility. With every passing day after this happened, Michael looked more and more like a walking zombie. His skin was starting to turn purple, and people started to notice. Michael's body was no longer a good disguise for Ennard, so Ennard ejected itself from Michael. But because the scooper was also a Remnant injector, when Michael Afton was scooped, he was also injected with Remnant. The Remnant made it so even after Ennard was gone, he was still able to survive. With Michael now back in full control of his body, he had a new mission. Although he did, one way or another, successfully free his sister from the underground facility, he also learned about all of his father's terrible misdeeds. His loyalty to his father turned to disgust. It was time for him to end all of this.
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you.
Michael would spend years searching for his father with no luck, until a new ad in the local newspaper caught his attention. Someone decided to open something called Fazbear's Fright, the horror attraction. Local amusement park is getting ready to scare your socks off with a new attraction based on the unsolved mysteries of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Featuring actual relics from the decades-old pizzeria, this new attraction is guaranteed to bring back your childhood in the worst possible way. As if using the crimes of his father to make a profit wasn't bad enough, they also went back to the old pizzerias and collected any objects they could find to put on display at the attraction. Michael immediately applied for the job of the security guard, with the sole intention of burning the place to the ground. When he got there, he saw the remnants of his past, the shells of all of the animatronics, missing every single one of their endoskeletons. He knew they could only find the shells of the animatronics because he and his father stole their endoskeletons all those years ago, leaving only the shells behind. On day 2 of working at the attraction, he got word that they found a real animatronic.
You're not gonna believe this. We found one. A real one.
This real animatronic ended up being his father, still inside the spring Bonnie suit he died in decades ago. Even though his father was now in the building with him, he still decided to go through on his plan, all in an effort to end his father once and for all. Michael then rigged the wiring in the building to catch fire, burning the horror attraction to the ground with his father inside. The local newspaper would write about the fire, saying a new local attraction based on an ancient pizzeria chain burned down overnight. Authorities have not ruled out foul play, but at the moment, it seems to have been caused by faulty wiring. Although the fire destroyed most of everything in the building, William, miraculously, was able to survive. William was now free, roaming the outside world along with the souls of the missing children, Elizabeth, and Charlie inside the puppet. Since Michael wasn't able to end everything, someone else needed to step in. That someone was Henry Emily. Afton's old business partner and father of Charlie heard about the fire at Fazbear's Fright, along with the rumors of the various animatronic creatures now roaming the streets. Henry was determined to put an end to all of this.
It's only now that I understand the depth of the depravity of this creature, this monster that I unwillingly helped to create. As if what he had already done wasn't enough. He found a new way to desecrate, to humiliate, to destroy. As if the suffering wasn't enough. The loss of innocence, the loss of everything to so many people. Small souls trapped in prisons of my making, now set to new purpose, and used in ways I never thought imaginable. He lured them all back to a familiar place, back with familiar tricks. He brought them all together. Are they still aware? I hope not. It keeps me awake at night. I could make myself sleep, but not yet. Not until I undo what
गाइस कल मिलते हैं यहाँ से। ये वीडियो बहुत बड़ी हो रही है, इसकी वजह से बंद करूँगा मैं इसको बीच में यहीं पे। नेक्स्ट पार्ट इसका मैं कल अपलोड कर दूँगा। बाय 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 बाय।